Sorry, welcome back. I am Joe Pro, and you are inside the 5280 zone. I am joined, as always, by my brother Cruz G, and our longtime brother Matt, aka Tokyo Five Star. He's going to be hanging out as a special guest this evening. He wanted to come and share his thoughts and opinions, and we'd love to hear him. So, I want to start off by saying a special thank you to our one of our sponsors this evening, the Coda Bear Creations. Okay, Coda Bear Creations is partnering up the 5280 Zone and the Rocky Mountain Sports Report, and we'd like to thank them because they create all of our Rocky Mountain Sports Report merchandise. Coda Bear Creations also takes personal orders for hats, t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, keychains, cups, mugs, and much, much more. Head over to their Facebook page and check out all of the awesome designs and products they have. If you're interested in any of the Rocky Mountain Sports Report merchandise or 5280 Zone merchandise, reach out to Matt Stifiero for more information. And you can find him directly on the Rocky Mountain Sports Report page. He is one of our admins. And if you can't get a hold of him, go ahead and just reach out to me, and I would love to be able to direct you in the right location. Again, thank you to Coda Bear Creations for doing such an awesome job on all of the merchandise that, hopefully we'll be having here come into us soon. We just ordered it this week. So, looking forward to seeing what kind of stuff they have to bring to us. So, again, thank you to Coda Bear Creations. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me once again. Really looking forward to having some candid feedback and conversations this evening about some different things going on in the Mile High City. All right. First, I want to start off by kind of talking about the Avs and the Vegas Golden Knights. They are on right now or getting ready to start. The puck is supposed to drop at 7 p.m. Coming in with a 2-0 lead on the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They were ranked higher in the bracket, so it's good that they're already up 2-0. Hopefully we can go ahead and steal a game in Las Vegas. They definitely brought it to us last week, the last game. We were tied 2-2 there for a little while, and we were able to break that tie and win in overtime. So good luck to the Avs, and I hope to see them go ahead and win that game this evening. So if you are watching that game or you want to check out the post game show of that game, you should check out the In the Crease show on the Rocky Mountain Sports Report page. They'll be streaming a little bit later this evening. Like I said, post Avs. All right, go Avs.
Go Avs.
Yeah. We're going to go ahead and go right into another Denver team that has made the playoffs, the Denver Nuggets. They have advanced to the Western Conference semifinals. They put a game on last night. They really did. I know Cruz has a couple things to say about that, so I'm going to go ahead and just let him take the lead on this one this evening and let him talk about the Nuggets.
Yeah, so talking about Game 5 too, that was an exciting game too, going into double overtime. And then Game 6, we started off kind of rough, and I was actually impressed with Michael Porter, and then I don't know what happened, like he just lost that consistency throughout the game. But I was wearing my jersey. And then as soon as I took it off, that's when we went on, I believe, 28-0 or 28-6 run, right? Am I right?
Yeah, like a 26-6 run or something like that. Something pretty close to that.
I took off my jersey. I was like, okay. I just took it off, and then sure enough, like, gained the lead. Had a good game.
Hey, us sports fans, we really believe in all those superstitions and all that craziness. I mean, Matt, our resident expert football player over here, he played some college ball, and he balled out. I'm sure he had some superstitions out there for sure. Matt, do you have any do you have anything to say on superstitions, or did you have any superstitions while you played?
I had a couple. It was I had to have. It wasn't nothing like Marshawn Lynch, having the Skittles or anything on the sideline, but I did have to have a foot massage. It
A
was
foot massage.
imperative. It was imperative. It was imperative. I had to have a foot massage like right before, maybe I'll say 45 minutes before. Go back in there. I have the trainer. I said, look, man, can you just massage my feet, man? And he'll do it. And I feel so much better. Cleats fit good. I have nothing, no pain on my feet. Awesome. And I'll just ball out, man.
Great, great. Well, Cruz, I guess, was being a little superstitious yesterday evening, and once he took his jersey off,
How about you, Joe?
then they started to win. They went on that 26-6 run. So again, the Nuggets they advanced. We're excited. They advanced. That's something that we were hoping for, and it's not coming back from a 3-1 deficit in the bubble like last year. They came out there and they really had a dominant performance. Well, I wouldn't say dominant, but they had a solid performance
That's
against
with
the
injury.
Trailblazers. I know when they were down that first game and we were up 2-1 at the time when we talked last week, I was like, they're not going to win another game. They're not going to win another game. That was a lot of hopes and dreams, I guess, because Dame Lillard absolutely just put on a showstopper in Game 5, like Cruz was talking about. 55, 57 points, something like that. And absolutely just killed it. He absolutely killed it, just making 3-pointers backwards with his eyes closed and one hand tied behind his back, kind of the 3-pointers that he was making. But last night didn't really do that. He was missing all kinds of shots from all over the floor, inside the paint, easy layups, and he's missing his signature threes. I know Matt has a few things to say about that. So, Matt, what did you think about Lillard missing so many shots last night?
Man, it was unbelievable just because from Game 5, and they showed the thing of Austin Rivers, praying. They're like, please just miss the shot, and it leads over into Game 6, and just kind of like being a little hot, like a knife going through some butter, but Dame just couldn't. There was a lid on that rim, man. It just couldn't go down. Whatever shot he was trying to take, trying to create his own shot, just wouldn't drop.
Yeah. We have a Facebook user in here saying, Joker showed why he needs to be the MVP. When the chips were down, he took control of that game, and it's 100%. That is 100% right. Joker he played for 36 minutes last night. He hit 36 points from all over the floor. He wasn't, just not in one spot, and he wasn't just hitting a sweet spot or anything like that. He was all over the floor doing everything. He had 8 boards and 6 assists, and he absolutely just did what he said he was going to do and close out the Blazers last night. And he had a quote last night and said, "Nobody can take the fight out of us. We're never going to quit. Quit is not in our vocabulary." So some of the people were counting us out, counting the Nuggets out, not saying that they were going to be being able to contend with Lillard and the way he was playing and this, that, the other. And he proved them wrong. He showed them exactly what he was there and what he does for this team, and that's why he is the MVP. There's no question about it. Yeah, there's some other people out there have some conversation that are in the conversation, but really, are they? I don't think so. Cruz, me and you were talking about this the other day, and how Joker is the leader of that team. But we saw some great things from Michael Porter Jr. in that first quarter too. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I believe he had a great game, like great first quarter as well. But
Yeah.
uh, but I'm impressed with Monte Morris as well too, being able to team up with
Mm-hmm.
Joker, take Jamal Murray's place. Well, not his place, but like that little
Fill in.
duo that they have. Yeah, that little fill in that they have. Like he reminded me of Jamal Murray and Jokic. Jokic.
Yeah, I really, Monty Morris came out, and he actually, performed really well last night. He played really well. I was really happy to see, all the different things that Monty Morris was being able to do, kind of get all over the floor. He needs to work on those free throws, but
Yeah,
uh, you know, overall, he was, hitting some 3-pointers out there, and that one at the end of the third quarter that really got us within 2 points was awesome. That was, really that started that charge, that motivation, and rolling us into the fourth quarter and taking the lead. So it was a lot of fun to watch Monty Morris and Joker and Michael Porter Jr. and all of them, really. They were all doing phenomenal out there yesterday. Like I said, we kind of started off to a little slow, rough start. But after that game 5 and going into double overtime, Lillard was even saying, it really took it out of them. They're out in the altitude, and even the Nuggets are used to playing in that. But I mean, playing in altitude and running around in altitude, I can tell you is not as easy or as fun as it sounds. So looking forward to seeing what is next for them. So, let's talk about their opponents a little bit. So we're going to be, the Nuggets and the Suns. So it's going to be the Nuggets versus the Suns in the Western Conference semifinals. And we'll talk about the Suns for a minute. I know this is the 5280 zone, but we got to talk about our opponent too. All right.
Gotcha.
So, the Suns went out and they absolutely played lights out last night. All right. And, they went out and they eliminated LeBron James in the first round of the playoffs. This is the first time that he has ever been eliminated from the first round in the playoffs in his entire career. So,
Smokey?
I was looking forward to seeing LeBron go out. I am not a LeBron fan by any means, never have been, because there was a little bit of rivalry back in the day between him and Carmelo Anthony. Still a little bit, I guess, there, but Carmelo's not a starter anymore, where LeBron still is. So that's definitely the difference between the two. So we have a question coming in from one of the Facebook users that's watching the show. What do you think is going to be one of the keys going in against the Suns? To me, it's going to be stopping Chris Paul. Devin Booker definitely had a phenomenal game last night, 47 points from him. And, he absolutely chopped up the Lakers. But he was also playing a hurt Lakers team. So 47 points. I'm not taking anything away from Devin Booker. Devin Booker had a phenomenal game. Me and Cruz were sitting there watching it last night, and we were talking about it. And, like I said, Devin Booker really did have a lights out game. But Chris Paul is the leader of that team. He really is. He is that veteran presence and that veteran leadership that is going to, I think, if they come out and they happen to beat us, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they come out and happen to beat us in beating the Nuggets, it's going to be because of Chris Paul. Chris Paul is the person that we have to stop. And, Aaron Gordon is going to need to be up in front and play that dominant defense that he had in, games 3 and 4 against Lillard, where he was taking it to him, I'm sorry, in games 2 and 3, not games 3 and 4. Game 4 was not a good game for Aaron Gordon. So games 2 and 3 against Lillard, and really being able to shut him down. Yes, he scored a bunch of points and this, that, the other, but he held him there. So Cruz, what do you think? I'm talking a lot. So, and like the intro said, I love to hear myself talk. So Cruz, tell me, what do you think some of the points to stopping the Suns are this next series?
Well, I think we just need to score more inside the paint. Stops. I don't know, because Michael Porter Jr., he showed that he's good, but he's inconsistent, as the Facebook user said.
Very.
And as expected from a young player, you just gotta we just gotta learn how to, well, not learn, but just keep on scoring twos. If we keep on putting a bigger dent into that lead, or getting two, I believe that we can keep pace with Devin Booker and Chris Paul.
I agree. Going out there, either chipping away at some of those small leads that they might have, or just extending our leads out. it's gonna be interesting to see how they're coming from the valley. They're not up there in the altitude. At least over there in Portland, they're I think they're a little bit higher above sea level. But coming from the valley, I think they're even maybe a little below sea level over here or over in Phoenix, and uh, them playing in the altitude. So I think we need to steal a game in Phoenix. That's without question. I mean, any series you go into, if you're not the home court or home ice or home field advantage, no, not home field, maybe in baseball, that home court advantage is really important. So we need to go in, steal a game in Phoenix, and take it to them. What Matt? What are some of the What are some of your thoughts on taking it to them in Phoenix? What are some of the keys to winning there in Phoenix?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, you're gonna have to stop that facilitator. Chris Paul is one of my favorite basketball players to watch, and I'm gonna let you know this now. He has not lost a step. He may have gotten a little bit chubbier, just a tad bit. But I think Chris Paul is just, he's just gonna be that number one guy. He's gonna take the mid-range shots. He's not gonna miss an open shot. And with Devin Booker on the other side, it's just that's probably one of the best backcourts. More conservative, but I believe that once he comes down that court, he's manipulating. He's already know what's going through. His transition game is probably one of the best games I've seen, other besides Derrick Rose and John Wall. But he knows what he has to do on that court. So
yeah,
I believe that the Denver Nuggets, they're gonna have to stop him at the point and at the helm. And obviously, Aaron Gordon's going to have to come up big and play that defense.
I agree. We have another Facebook user comment here. The bench is super important for the Nuggets. It's going to have to be a full team effort, and I think it's kind of been that way. Since losing Jamal Murray, we had Jamal Murray go down, then we had PJ Dozier go down, then we had Will Barton go down. So I mean, our bench has been depleted. We don't have that depth that we had before. So, the rotations and Mike Malone coming in and making sure that we're resting the players. Another Facebook user here saying if the bench performs, Joker can get both get more of a breather and use his talents to close out the games at the end. 100% agree. Like I said, we don't have that deep bench that we had prior to Jamal Murray going down and Will Barton and Dozier. So we have to make sure that we're rotating the players in and out. And another thing that I think that is going to be really important is Facundo. It's staying out of foul trouble. He was starting to get into a little bit of foul trouble last night, and he's always has that look like, "What did I do? What did I do?" But which I mean, any NBA player gives that look, but it looks a little bit funnier on Facundo for sure. Always is just looking like
he was putting work in the second quarter, though.
Yeah, he did. He put in a lot of work, and I think that's important. That's why he has to stay on the court. He can't get himself in that foul trouble.
Listen, you're gonna have those type of players that get in that foul trouble. Come on now, Ben Wallace was one of those guys. Actually, I think he was the number one guy that kept getting in foul trouble back when he was playing for the Pistons. And let's not remember, they did go to 3 championships, and he was doing that consistently. So,
I mean, yes, for sure, I agree. But that was a different NBA than today. They get a flick on the wrist, and it's everybody in tears and LeBron on the floor usually, right? So that's one of the things that I think is important is that we have to manage our team well. Mike Malone has done that really well in this past series. He did manage the team well. He got Joker the few minutes that he could to breathe. But I mean, again, still Joker had 36 minutes last night. He is going to be exhausted. So we have a couple days break here, 3-day break in between the series. But I hope that Joker is going to get an opportunity to, get some fresh legs on him and really go out there and perform. So it'll be an exciting series to say the least. And that first game is on Monday night. And we're looking forward to checking that out. And we'll go ahead and take this last Facebook comment real quick before we roll over into our next segment. Malone has to make sure he's managing the game better. He has the team to play straight up instead of following and let Lillard score the tying three, sending them both into overtimes the other night. He needs to get better with that. I agree. He managed, like I said, he managed the games. He managed the games well. I wouldn't say he managed them good. He managed them well. He did put Lillard in the opportunity to tie the games back up.
Yeah.
Matt, anything to say on that?
Man, just managing the game. I mean, it has to be better. I mean, I totally agree with this Facebook user, man. I mean, that's all you have to do. It's just managing the game better, 100%.
And the fact that we have Chris Paul and Devin Booker too, we're gonna have to find a way to stop them both. Because it's almost like we're playing another Lillard, but two.
Oh yeah. Definitely. We had one to worry about Lillard being able to shoot threes and all this, that, the other. But we have CP3 and Devin Booker coming in. It's a little bit different. And that's why it's the next round. It's not the first round. We're not playing a play-in game or anything like that. We're playing the next round. These guys went and they earned their place and they earned their next spot just as much as we did. And they were able to close it out in 6 just like we did. So. There's no excuse of we're more tired than them or they're more tired than us or any of that stuff. I mean, they went out. They had a broken Lakers team though, also. So they might be a little more well rested than us because 30. They were leading they beat the Lakers the other night by 30 points, and then they had a phenomenal game last night. The Lakers tried their hardest to come back, but nothing there. So it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun series to watch. That game is going to be on Monday, 7 June. I think it's at 7 p.m. on TNT. So, looking forward to seeing that, and seeing what the Nuggets can do. I think that they are going to go out there. And my prediction, we'll go ahead and go around the horn real quick. My prediction, it's going to be Nuggets in 6. Matt, go ahead. Over to you.
Hey, man, I think it's going to be Nuggets in 6 as well. Hey, I'm a Memphis native, man. Put Will Barton in the game so I can see him do his thing, man. Let's go. Let's go, Will. Yeah.
He got to come back from that injury, so hopefully he's cruised. Your prediction?
Honestly, I say Nuggets in 7.
Nuggets in 7.
It's going to be an exciting, difficult round. Because, we're hurt, too. Like you said, we don't got that depth, but they do. So it's going to be a tough one, but I think so too. We'll pull it out. All
right. So Cruz, Nuggets in 7, me, a Nuggets in 6, and Matt with the Nuggets in 6, and bring Will Barton back. I agree on that all together, all around. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about this. The NFL kickoff is in 100 days. 100 days until the NFL kickoff.
Woo!
Who's excited? Who's excited? 100 days until kickoff. I know I'm excited. I know that I'm looking forward to seeing the Broncos out there on the field, finally doing something. We started OTAs and we're starting to see some things, and we're dissecting every little piece of information that we're getting that's coming out of news reports or little, vlogs or whatever the case is that are coming out. Everything on Snapchat to Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm dissecting every little bit of information, and we'll get to that here in a second about some of the information we want to dissect and hear about and listen to. And but we're gonna take a pause on the Broncos for just 1 second. We'll get back to the Broncos because this is the Rocky Mountain Sports Report in the 5280 zone, and so we want to talk about all things Colorado, all things Denver. And definitely our Denver Broncos, as you can see my jersey here. Cruz over there wearing some Denver's gear too. But we want to talk about some of our most favorite games that we're looking forward to this season. Matt, go ahead and start.
Oh, man. I honestly believe that I really want to see that Chiefs and Baltimore matchup.
Chiefs and Baltimore.
I really want to see how these young quarterbacks stay consistent. And honestly, with Patrick Mahomes and what he's doing, and what Lamar Jackson and what people are trying to see if he's going to live up to it, which I know he's going to do, they're going to clash. And I believe it's going to be another game that we're going to see like we did last year. I mean, whatever these teams have going on, their playbooks, obviously Andy Reid is one of the best coaches of this era. Actually, really, I just want to see, the whole Chiefs offense and see what they're about to do. And on the other side, Baltimore, you just really don't know what they're going to do. Now, a lot of people thought that Baltimore drafted Lamar Jackson just to really, maybe run the ball or just maybe become a receiver. No, this man is taking over the NFL, not over as like a Michael Jordan, but he's there. He's there. He can really leap over Patrick Mahomes. But the way Patrick is doing that stuff right there, those two they're going head to head right now for being the face of the NFL. And those two, I can't wait to see that matchup when it comes up.
That's gonna definitely be an exciting matchup, and I am going to pause real quick, and we're gonna say we're gonna go over real quick. Avs and Golden Knights are tied at 0-0. 13 minutes left in the first period. Thank you, Facebook user, for updating us on that game. You know, we want to make sure we're keeping up, and everybody that's watching us, I don't know if you're going to be able to watch the Avs at the same time, and if you are, great. Keep those comments coming in so that we can make sure that we're updating everybody that's watching as well. And then real quick on what you were saying there, Matt, I agree with you 100% on that. It's going to be a really good matchup. Both of those teams coming with brand new offensive lines, so we'll see how that goes. I hope to see Mahomes get absolutely crushed. So hopefully his offensive line is like Swiss cheese this year. That's just come from a Broncos fan through and through, though. Cruz, what's one of your games that you're looking forward to watching?
Well, I'm looking forward to ending that 5-year losing streak against the Chiefs. I'm tired. I'm tired of that.
Yes. Looking forward to
Those
that.
are the games that I'm looking forward to right there.
I'm looking forward to games in general. Hopefully being able to go to a game this year. COVID finally kind of almost kind of getting there near the end. And Denver just got approved for the the Ball Arena. And Coors Field just got approved to be at full capacity. And so I would assume that Empower Field will be following suit there soon. If they haven't already. I didn't see anything in the news today about that, but that's going to be that's a big thing, being able to be at full capacity again. I'm looking forward to that. So maybe being able to go catch a couple games or seeing what's going on next in those things in general. Unrelated Broncos game that I am most interested in watching is Tom Brady going back to Foxborough and playing the New England Patriots. That's the game I'm looking forward to most, him coming back. And, I'm not a huge Bill Belichick fan, not a huge Tom Brady fan either by any means, but just because he is the GOAT, there's no question about it. Going in there and putting in work on the Patriots, that's always going to be a fun thing to watch too. Games with an electric atmosphere is what I'm looking forward to. I think any game that, these stadiums are going to, like we said, full capacity is going to be definitely something where, it's just going to be fun to watch. The games are way more fun to watch when the fans are in the stands, players jumping into the crowds and giving the ball away to that little kid or whoever, seeing those players out there and doing their thing. I think that's always going to be the thing that I like watching most about watching the other games. I mean, the Broncos, I'll sit there and I can watch the Broncos. I can watch the NFL replays on the Broncos. Even if I know what's happening. All right. Enough about the regular NFL season. Let's talk Broncos. All right. We have some things to talk about this other than the quarterback battle. I see it up here from one of our Facebook users. Day 3 of Rodgers watch. I think it's going to continue. I don't think we're going to see Aaron going anywhere. If he's going anywhere right now, how I kind of feel is that he's going to be going to jeopardy if he's going anywhere else other than the Green Bay Packers this season. I'll take a few minutes to talk about Aaron Rodgers real quick. Cruz, any thoughts on this, or is this just kind of along the same lines?
I think it's along the same lines. Like, nothing's really been out to give us a oh, he's getting traded. it's still about the same information, building up that hype, anticipation for
Mhm.
something to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
But no, I don't think anything really big is gonna happen. I think
yeah.
he's gonna end up still being in Green Bay.
Yeah. Okay. Matt, anything on that, or are we just gonna move on?
I think it was like a manipulation tactic for Rodgers. I honestly believe he was trying to get them to commit a little bit more because he wanted that dough. So and honestly, I think deep in his heart he was flirting with probably going to the Bay Area. Because Derek Carr wasn't looking too hot. On some of the pictures I was seeing. So they were like, hey, maybe Derek Carr may be dealt and Aaron Rodgers may come over there to the Bay Area.
You mean Las Vegas? Derek Carr does not play in the Bay
Well,
Area anymore. Las
well,
Vegas.
excuse me, I forgot. They did move to Las Vegas, so forgive me for that. All right.
Yeah.
Forgive
No
me.
worries. No worries. I agree. This Facebook user here saying trade deadline is November, so Packers aren't in a rush. Packers aren't in a rush. And it is, we're like I said, we're not going to see anything anytime soon on that. I'm not like I said, that's kind of a dead deal there for me. I'm kind of over talking about Aaron Rodgers. That's the only thing on ESPN over and over and over again. So
Hey, if it happens though,
yeah, I mean,
if it
this is what
happens,
happens, when especially the same thing when Peyton Manning, we were trying to figure out what was going on with him. They were doing Brett Favre watch. It's always the Green Bay quarterbacks, it seems like, other than Peyton Manning. Brett Favre watch outside of his house, 3 years retired. They're sitting out there in his bushes and whatever else on the NFL Network. That's always some fun, interesting, funny stuff. But like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Aaron Rodgers, unless something definitive happens and he's down in Denver signing some paperwork. I'm over talking about Aaron Rodgers, and he can go on and do great things over at Jeopardy. One less player that we have to worry about playing against, I guess.
Did he just get married?
He is engaged, or he's about to get married to a girl from Colorado, coincidentally. But let's talk about Von Miller and Cortland Sutton's return, both coming back from devastating injuries. Vaughn coming back from an Achilles injury and Sutton coming back from an ACL tear. Myself, I have had to recover from an ACL injury myself, and I can tell you it was not fun. It was probably one of the most difficult injuries to come back from. Strength cutting, just everyday walking. It was definitely a challenge. So doing that as a receiver, Matt, you played receiver, and you probably have had a few little minor injuries and things like that. I don't think you've ever had a ACL tear, have you?
I have not. All I've had was I've had just the ankle and just a slight my kneecap came off track just a little bit.
Got it. So, I mean, coming off those more minor injuries compared to an ACL tear, what is what are some of the challenges that you dealt with as a receiver and learning how, having to deal with that pain, that aggravation, and just the rehab of coming back and being able to run those routes again, getting up in the air, being able to catch those balls and getting the timing down with your QB again.
It's very frustrating because once you have that injury, there's a stigma in your head. You just like, oh, could I be able to do this? Could I be able to do that? Receivers want to be at their very best and they want to perform because we sell the tickets for dang show. So Cortland Sutton is just trying to get back out there to do that. But I know he's going through a rough time. And rehab is kicking his butt, and
Yeah.
I actually had to do, I'm going through some of the same stuff he's going through right now. I actually have like a small tumor behind my knee, but with Cortland, he has to put in complete work. I'm talking about it has to be different from the water, going in the pool, going in the sand. He has to do the balance balls. He's going to have to do dumbbell balancing. He has to do all that stuff. So with him, what he's going through, I know exactly how it feels. And being a receiver, you want to be able to be at your best, at the highest peak, to be able to cut, to be able to do all those things, to be able to put on the performance so he can score them touchdowns in a Denver stadium.
I agree. And that's exactly why, it is important that we have these off seasons, and that they can absolutely go through and get themselves game time ready. I think this is one of the important things of preseason. I know a lot of players don't like preseason. They don't like um, a lot of the training camp and things like that. I know it breaks their bodies down for sure, but it also warms their bodies up and it gets them ready to play. The more time they have on the field, slow reps, maybe just helmets or just tops. Those are the kinds of things that get the players ready to go out there and perform week in and week out. And going into a full 17 games this year, I think that's going to be really important. So, and Vaughn coming back from another devastating injury. Cruz, I know that you were, me and you are huge Von Miller fans. I know that for sure. Him and his chickens. Looking forward to seeing him out on the field and doing some of his crazy antics, so that we can just get hyped up and see some quarterbacks get crushed. Hopefully him going and crushing Mahomes for 30 sacks this year. I mean, that's unreal. That's not really realistic, but I sure would love to see it. That's for sure. Cruz, what do you think? Do you think Vaughn is near the end of his time? I know that he's kind of on that other side of 30 now, and he's been dealing with some little injuries here and there, nagging injuries. I mean, he dealt with a knee injury himself, and do you think he's going to be able to perform the way he did prior to this Achilles injury?
I don't know. It's just Big Fangio has said that he's looked good. He doesn't look like he's struggling at all. Well, I don't know if he said I don't know that he said that, but like uh with Vaughn's mentality, he's pretty positive about himself, and I like that. He said that he keeps the same mentality each season, like that this season's gonna be the one, and he said that he hasn't let the injury affect that mindset that he has. So we'll see. I hope it's not the end of his line, but if that's the way it goes, that's the way it goes. You can't really, if you get injured, that's tough, especially in the
Yeah,
Achilles.
yeah,
So we'll
definitely.
see.
Yeah, we will see. Matt, him dealing with that injury and then dealing with some of the other off the field issues that he had. Dealing with some issues with his girlfriend and some comments that are some text messages that were released. We won't really go deep dive into those text messages specific, but then being investigated by the Parker Police Department there in Colorado as well. Do you think that is that going to affect how he was be able to rehab and get ready for this next season?
That could. I mean, obviously, football is what he does, but he's a professional. He's gonna do what he needs to do first. That is to take care of his family and the situation, off the field stuff, and the rest of the stuff is gonna come. We football players, we are built to withstand long and strenuous, just workouts. I'm not worried about that. But with him being off the field and stuff, that can mess with a man's mind. And I pray he just doesn't, fall into that. But I know the off field stuff and him rehabbing and stuff, he's gonna be golden and he's gonna be looking brand new.
Yeah,
Great.
talking about off the field stuff. Noah Fant's mom just passed away too, so we'll see how.
Yeah.
Rest
I
in
mean,
peace to his mom. Like,
yeah, he's
Yeah.
had a ton of stuff going on. So, that is a concern of mine. His mindset maybe a little bit going into training camp. I know a lot of all that off-season stuff, other than that, was cleared up prior to the season, or I mean, prior to even OTAs. So he's not really dealing with that anymore. But I was talking maybe specifically just towards his rehab. But I hope that he uses some of that as motivation and is able to go ahead and press forward and make the best of OTAs, get the training that he needs, and is ready to go out there and crush some quarterbacks this season.
mm,
All right. So there was another comment that was pushed out there this earlier this week by Jerry Jeudy, and I think most users have seen this or Even it's all over Sports Illustrated. And, I don't know how well SI is doing anymore with reporting, but he is coming on ESPN. It was actually on DenverBroncos.com and their interview with Steve Atwater and the comments that Jerry Jeudy made. So Jerry Jeudy is one of the Broncos starting receivers, coming out of Alabama. Number 10. He was our first round draft pick last year. And he is in the midst of this quarterback battle. He is kind of in this in between the two quarterbacks and having to deal with one quarterback throwing to him and another one. And, I think that's going to probably screw with some timing there for sure. But he specifically said that Teddy Bridgewater is throwing floaters. And Locke was throwing a lot harder, some tight, hard spirals. And, if you ask some of these other players, does it matter how the ball gets to you? I was never a receiver in any capacity at all. So I don't know the parameters on, what a receiver. This is why we kind of brought Matt into this one this evening. Do floaters or tight spirals, which one's your preference, Matt?
Oh, Lord, my heavens. Why are we even? It's a tight spiral is what I want, but I'm a receiver. Regardless of what the ball is doing, I have to get it. Okay. So with Jerry Jeudy and with him throwing the throwing the shot, excuse me. Man, that's just come on, man. Don't do that, man. If anything, go ahead.
I don't think it was a shot. I don't think it was a shot at Teddy B or at Drew Lock. I don't think it was either one. I think it was just he was saying that their throwing styles. I think they're just different, and it is well documented. That Teddy B was thrown like that.
I believe it was a little shot because I said we receivers can be prima donnas.
Okay,
it's. I'm not saying I would do that, but if we were practicing and everything and it's hot, we're trying to get ready to, we really haven't played football or, seen football in almost a year, I would get, a little tense. I'll get a little fired up as well. But, a ball, when it comes out, it's a nice spot. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful, But if you're throwing floaters, it's kind of like, what the heck? But I'm going to still go get it. But with that being said, with Teddy throwing floaters, back when he was at Northwestern in high school, they had questions about him throwing regardless because he threw with two gloves. They had questions with him throwing with, Teddy two gloves, but he made it something, He made it something. We know his hands were too small. We know his hands were too small. So, he made it a habit. Big Ben threw with some gloves on. He's still throwing with gloves on, Jake Delhomme was throwing with gloves on. But in his mind, I think Teddy is just, I don't know. Maybe it could have been him being a little bit scared of the competition, but I don't know. Jerry is just being a little prima donna.
No, and that's exactly what I'm kind of. That's what I was kind of getting at here is that at the beginning of this segment I was talking about how us as NFL fans and Broncos fans, we are going to take whatever we can and dissect it every which way because we want to know more. We want to know more. And, exactly a comment coming here from Matt Stafiero that this was taken out of context. I agree. I think it was taken out of context. I think we're only getting one side of the story. There's three sides to every story. And I think that we're just looking for something to talk about when it comes to this situation. We don't know anything. We see the clips, we see the things that the Denver Broncos are releasing. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see what's going on. Steve Atwater and some of the other guys there at the Denver Broncos headquarters were going through and dissecting that video, and they were saying that Teddy Bridgewater was working with the ones, and whereas Drew Lock was working with the twos that whole practice. So I mean it's a totally different thing. Was this at the end of practice? Was this at the beginning of practice? Was Drew throwing? Where was Drew throwing? All that good stuff. Where was Teddy throwing? Where we could dissect it every which way, like I said, and I think it is things that are taken out of context, and we are going to continue to see, and we're going to continue to do this every week. Maybe we're going to get some comments from Cortland Sutton next week on how he has to take his brace off to run faster when Teddy Bridgewater throws, or he has to keep his knee brace on when Drew Lock is throwing because he can't slow down or keep up with the ball or whatever. And yes, exactly, Matt. There's been tons of rumors that have been swirling for sure at the local level and the national level, supporting Teddy Bridgewater as the starting quarterback. I honestly, I don't, I can't disagree with you there. All of these rumors that are going, because this offense that he is in, Pat Shurmur's offense, it is geared towards Teddy Bridgewater. It is not geared towards Drew Lock. Drew Lock is this gunslinger, and where Teddy Bridgewater is a more analytical, slow the pace down type of quarterback. Now, how do we go forward with that? I don't know. And maybe that was the Broncos' plan all along. Bring somebody in that can develop underneath this analytical type play offense. It's always going to be the same plays over and over and over and over again. It's not the same. We're not going to be doing anything spectacular. We just have to master one thing and move forward in this type of offense. Cruz, we watched a lot of games last year, and we saw that, Drew Lock wasn't as successful as he could be. Do you think that he can, with the tutelage of getting underneath Peyton Manning's wing, do you think he's going to be able to kind of develop that type of mindset to move into more of an analytical quarterback?
Well, I think it's been difficult for him because the Broncos have switched up offensive coordinator so much within the past 4 years.
Yeah, well, this is the first year. I mean, this is the first time that we're really getting any continuity.
Yeah, this is the first time that we kept it consistent. So, maybe he develops into that type of offense, that Pat Shurmur offense. Peyton Manning, when Gary Kubiak and he came. I know he's not the offensive coordinator, but like when he came, he had that run kind of offense too. So that was like a slower offense, and Peyton Manning was older, but
yeah,
I think Drew Lock will be able to develop into it if he's able to work with it. Because I mean, he was taken away from practice last year with Pat Shurmur coming in, and he was just told to head straight into the game, And under Peyton Manning's boot, I heard that they were just watching film, so that they were watching a lot of film. So we'll see.
Hey, I mean, that's a step in the right direction for him, and I know that they were talking about maybe just how he gets his receivers together and how they are going to proceed in the offseason, kind of those kinds of things. So, how much he's actually doing with Peyton, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, and takes on this. The Broncos quarterback room in general, are we happy with it, or are we disappointed? Matt Stefero over here has definitely given us his opinion, and he voices it well, that he does not like the quarterback room at all. The quarterback room with the sprinkler Shurmur is a recipe for low scoring offense, in his opinion. So, from one Matt to another, Matt, do you like this quarterback room? Yes or no? And you have like 30 seconds to give me a answer. I have to limit Matt over here because we have to get into our next segment.
Listen, forgive me, but I'm going to tell you this right now. I kind of agree with the guy. All right. Drew Lock was a little sporadic. Teddy Bridgewater, he is conservative, but, he has had a little bit of success here and there. I do want to see another quarterback come in there and shake up the room. It like you said, it's a little bit dull because last year y'all were trying to get the offensive coordinator to suit up to even play, for the Denver Broncos. So that would have been dull as itself too. But I think that would have been fun to watch. So,
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you think a shakeup of the quarterback room is going to happen this season? Do you think we will bring another quarterback in this season, or is this going to be bringing somebody in next year? Because I mean, we obviously missed out on the draft, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. So that was never going to happen. But any of those things, do you think
Here's
we'd
the
bring a quarterback in this season?
here's the bold
Bruce?
prediction. Here's a bold prediction.
Okay.
If if Von Miller does not have like a good year per se, I believe that they will target him for a trade for another quarterback. Who knows?
Okay.
Or I don't know because I don't know because if he doesn't have that good season, I don't know if any other team would go be willing to trade a quarterback. But you know,
I disagree.
Well, see, I'm just gonna poke a hole in there real quick, Cruz. Vaughn is only under contract this season, right? Or is he under contract next season?
uh, I haven't checked his
So I
season.
think the
But
first thing would be we'd have to get him under contract. But yeah, no, I think that he is definitely somebody that we could trade by the trade deadline
yeah,
for another quarterback if we're struggling that bad. I think that's a bold prediction, but I think it's a fair prediction too. I don't think it is that far out there that we wouldn't trade Von Miller or even Bradley Chubb to go after a bigger named quarterback. Do you think Deshaun Watson comes into the room? Or do you think this litigation is going to be cleared up by the start of the season, or do you think he's going to hold out from the Texans? Cruz.
I have no say on that.
All right, Matt, what do you think?
Man, that's something that I think that may come in play if Watson keeps doing what, or if the allegations keep popping up, or if one more thing happens. I think they'll probably, they'll probably swim for something. Because Odell Beckham wasn't untouchable. We all thought he was untouchable, but look what happened. I mean,
Yeah.
I think something can happen with Watson in Denver, and I think that quarterback room would be a lot more interesting.
I agree. I agree. All right, gentlemen. So, we've talked a lot about Denver Broncos football. Always fun time to talk about it. It's beginning of OTAs, mini camps, things like that. So we don't have a lot to talk about on that. Unfortunately, we just we got a few things in there, and we're gonna go ahead and just move on from that, and we'll revisit this next week. But we're gonna talk about this weekend's fight. All right. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul.
Oh,
All
my
right.
Jesus.
These gimmicky fights. That's exactly what they are. They're gimmick fights. Are they entertaining? Are they something worth your time? Are you watching them, Cruz? Are you watching these fights?
I watched the highlight. I don't watch them, but I watch the highlights, because I don't know. I just like to. It's all around the media, so it's hard not to see.
Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and take a real quick pause on that. We're gonna update our Facebook users and viewers. The Avs and the Golden Knights are 0-0 at the end of the first period. So the Avs and the Golden Knights are 0-0 at the end of the first period. Thank you. I appreciate you all bringing the comments in and letting us, keeping us up to date and keeping our viewers up to date with the Avs and Golden Knights. They are in Las Vegas this evening. This is game 3. They're at 0-0 at the end of the first. But yeah, no, I'm kind of in the same boat there, Cruz. I have watched, I watched the first one. I watched the Mike Tyson fight. That was fun to kind of watch. That was but they were actual boxers, they're a bunch of old guys. It was like that movie Grudge Match where they were just boxing each other because they wanted to box each other. But as far as I guess I did watch the first Jake Paul fight too, where he knocked out Nate Robinson. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm kind of entertained by them. They're kind of funny to watch. They're kind of interesting. I love the memes that come out after them. The memes are great. The memes are great. Matt, what are you thinking on these gimmicky fights?
They're atrocious. I think I get them from my kids. Well, from my football kids when I go to practice, they're like, "Man, did you see Logan Paul knock out Nate Robb?" I'm like, "What?" And I have to get on my phone, like you said, I have to see the highlights and stuff. And it's unreal how much publicity is getting put out. And I didn't even hear about when they were having the fight. And then I actually saw, the little TMZ thing where they're walking and, Logan Paul says something. Jake Paul says something. And next thing you know, Floyd's cussing. He's like, yo, mama, your mama. He's explicit.
Yep.
Very bad.
So Logan Paul and Mayweather are going to be fighting this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and throw that graphic back up real quick and show you the comparisons. So Floyd Mayweather is 44, Logan Paul 26. Floyd Mayweather 50-0. He had 27 knockouts. Logan Paul has had one fight and he lost. The last time Logan Paul fought was in November of 2019, and Floyd Mayweather August of 2017. So there's been some substantial amount of time between both of their last fights. Mayweather has a 72-inch reach, and Logan Paul has a 76-inch reach. Logan Paul has the size advantage for sure on Mayweather. Seeing some of those graphics and those TMZ things of them standing next to each other, upright at each other, and Logan Paul is giant compared to Mayweather. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know, is Mayweather going to fold over and lose? I don't think that's going to happen. The money's there. Maybe he will just give up so that he can make some more money. Money Mayweather team or whatever his brand is. I'm over it. I'm really not interested in any more of these gimmicky fights. I'd rather see Ryan Diaz or Canelo fighting more. And, Ryan Diaz and Canelo are fighting 3 to 4 times a year, where these guys are just going out there trying to make a buck. The last little gimmicky fight, the one that just got announced, Jake Paul versus Lamar Woodley. I hope Lamar Woodley goes and punches Jake Paul's face in. Mayweather is going to be apparently training Woodley. That came out today. But that's what's coming out in the fighting world right now as far as boxing goes. Like I said, I'm over it. I'm done with it. I wanted to bring it up, see what some of your all's takes were on these gimmick fights, but I'm not looking forward to. I'm not going to spend any money on them. I'll watch the highlights.
I think there should be like a whole different, like not in the UFC or the boxing world. I feel like there should be a whole different. I forgot the word, but like platform for it. I don't think it should be like how it is right now.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. So, like I said, I'm done. I'm over it. Like I said, I'll watch the highlights on Snapchat or Facebook, Instagram, whatever. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. So, enough about those gimmick fights. All right. So I want to give a shout out to some of the other great Rocky Mountain Sports Report shows that are out there on Facebook and on any of your local podcasts, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can go find some of them on there if it's just a regular podcast. I'm not exactly sure which ones are just audio or which ones are live streams as well. We can get some more information for you. If you have any questions about that, hit up the Rocky Mountain Sports Report page on Facebook, and we would love to continue sharing all these great pieces of information. All right. We got some cool shows out there. 4th and 99. They covered Denver Broncos football. We have, 3 different people on there that are very knowledgeable in Broncos and what they have, their opinions on each one of those things as well. We have In the Crease. Again, the In the Crease is the one that covers the Avalanche, and they go post game every game after every game. So you should go out there, watch their post game of the third playoff game tonight. They have some good stuff. It's going to be Scott King Cole over there In the Crease, who is doing great things and giving great feedback on the Avs. Then you have the Rocky Mountain Thunder. They are a podcast. They're strictly audio, so you can go check them out on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts at. You have the 5280 Mile High Basketball guys, bringing definitely some interesting takes on the Nuggets as well. And then you have Purple Craze and Haze. They've been a little dormant this season because, not a lot of fun things to talk about when it comes to the Rockies, but they had a great show today, and, look forward to hearing more about them. And then we have Elevated Sports and their show as well, covering kind of a slew of Colorado sports as well. Again, we want to say thank you to our sponsor for this evening's show, the Coda Bear Creations. They are out there. They are creating hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, cups, hoodies, keychains, mugs, and so much more. So please, again, thank you to a big thank you to our sponsor, Coda Bear Creations. Looking forward to picking up some merchandise from them. And if you're looking for merch for the 5280 Zone, it will be coming. The 5280 Zone merch will be on its way. And the Rocky Mountain Sports Report merch is already in development. So get with Matt Stifiero on any of that merchandise if you're looking for some. And we will go ahead and bring that to you all. We look forward to seeing you next week. Join us as we talk about more Colorado sports, and we're going to be talking about the first week of the Nuggets playoffs. We're going to be talking about the Avs and how their series is going with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Hopefully that series will be over. We just sweep them and move on to the next round. But join us next Friday, June 11th at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I want to say a big thank you to Matt for joining us on our show this evening. And if you liked Matt, leave a comment, leave a like, so that he can feel the love too. Let him know, and then let us know how he did. If you want to see him around, you want to see some other guests, or you want us to bring Victor back, please let us know. We want to hear the feedback. And if you're interested in coming on to the show or having something to talk about, DM me, DM Cruz, and we can go ahead and try to make that happen. We'd love to bring any guests on that want to talk, Rocky Mountain sports, any sports in the 5280 zone, Mile High. So a big thank you again, Matt. And to my brother Cruz, who is the one that is producing and helping me out with this show, getting it all together, getting the graphics for us, and making sure that this show goes without a hitch. So I am really glad to see everything that happened this week in Colorado sports. Cruz, go ahead and sign us out, and we will see you all next week.
Yeah, thank you all for joining, commenting, giving some good input. I like reading the comments and agreeing with you too, like the Nuggets in 7. That's a good one, because I said that. But go ahead and join us next Friday, like Joseph said, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I hope you all enjoy your night. Go Avs. And that's it.
There we go. Go Avs. All right. The 5280 zone. You were a mile high with us this evening. We're looking forward to seeing you next week, June 11th at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, daylight savings, for some of those other users that we were showing up earlier. So thank you for joining us again. Have a great night.